Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. You doing good? Beautiful morning. Really nice. Had my long run this morning. I did 8 miles. Hopefully it was my last kind of chilly morning run. I'm ready to sweat, y'all. I'm ready for summer. Y'all know me. I love summer. And I love you, and I love God's Word and the time that we spend together. We call it 10 with Tim, and we do this every day, 10 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Most of the time I'm live. I'm live today. I almost always am, unless I have to. Usually if I have a church member at the hospital early or occasionally an early morning meeting, Mondays is usually pre-recorded for the simple reason that's my day off. And if I come in and do 10 o'clock, 10 with Tim on Monday, I'll stay. I'll end up working all day because that's just how I am. So I've learned that if I pre-record Monday, it makes sure that I have a full Monday off. I hope you never think I'm dishonest. When I'm recording, and again, I'm live today, but if I do record, I just act like it's any other day because I feel like you don't care. I think you just want to know have you seen this lesson? Is this what day is it? And I just try to make that part clear so that you can stay on track with me. So anyway, live most every day except Monday. Today is Thursday, and here we are. Second Chronicles. We're starting Second Chronicles. It's less of a big deal than it sounds because the story just moves straight through. In reality, these are literally one document, one book, First and Second Chronicles. We just divide them up. So here we go. We're starting with the reign of Solomon in 2 Chronicles chapter 1, and we're straight to that beautiful moment of worship when Solomon seeks the Lord, and the Lord gives him this outrageous offer: I will give you anything you ask. What's up with that? I thumbed back through because I thought, really, I just remembered a little more intrigue and drama with the handoff of the throne from David to Solomon. Do you remember all that? It's all in First Kings chapters 1 and 2, and we've read that together. So you remember all that? It wasn't. It was a whole lot more complicated than the chronicler makes it sound. Do you remember how King David in the end, he was just amazing lover and this amazing old man, and in the end, he was impotent and cold in bed, and so they gave him Abishag. They gave him a girl. You know what? They gave him a girl to sleep with. So that's kind of crazy. And Abishag kind of got up involved in all of that stuff. One of David's sons, Adonijah, is that his name? Adonijah, tried to seize the throne. Bathsheba got all up in it. Nathan got up in it. Adonijah set himself up as king, and then David gave the throne to Solomon, and so then Adonijah tried to marry Abishag. It's just like, no. it was crazy. It was so complicated and convoluted, but the chronicler, man, he just makes this sound like this was this. He's not dishonest. He just tends to streamline the story to emphasize what he's emphasizing. And so we miss all the, sex and drama that we got back in First Kings. So maybe that's good. I guess in the end, y'all, when y'all are trying to decide who writes the story of my life, pick the chronicler, because he's just going to tell the G-rated version without any sex and violence. So here we go. We are straight to Solomon. He is so established on his throne. We didn't hear anything about Bathsheba or Adonijah or Abishag. Man, it's just Solomon on his throne, doing everything right. And so he calls all the leaders together as David just did, and this time he takes them all to the place of worship in Gibeon. We've been talking about this, how David moved the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem, but they still left, the tabernacle up in Gibeon. And the priests seem to be still ministering there in Gibeon. And if you want to inquire of the Lord, and that's the chronicler's favorite word, inquire, to inquire of the Lord, to seek the Lord. The chronicler uses this word like over 40 times. So this is his, one of his themes. And truly all of us should live lives that seek the Lord, So the chronicler says that Solomon and the leaders, they all go up to seek and inquire the Lord. I'm assuming, and check me out if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that involves the Urim and the Thummim, the little dice, the little gadgets that the priests carry in their vestments to help inquire the Lord. I'm assuming that they need the role of the priests for that, formally anyway. And also the altar is there, and Solomon gives 1,000 burnt offerings. Remember that the burnt offering is the one that is totally consumed. It is the most lavish, the most wasteful, from one perspective, but it is the most expensive offering you can give to God because it is all consumed on the altar. You don't get to take the meat home. So he gives 1,000 burnt offerings to God, and that night God appears to Solomon in a vision or so. So that night God appears to Solomon. It's just simply seek the Lord and he will be found. So Solomon has sought the Lord, and the Lord visits him that night and just says, "What do you want? Ask for anything and I'll give it to you." This sounds like an episode of I Dream of Jeannie or Aladdin or whatever. I'll give you 3 wishes. Somebody finds a genie in a bottle kind of thing. I guess it's everybody's dream, and I suppose you and I would wonder, would God make us that offer? Would God say today, "Hey Jan, hey Jeannie, hey John, anything you want, dude, you just ask for it today. And man, I'm just feeling good today. I'm feeling generous today. Ask me for anything." Would God do that for you? I'm inclined to say probably not. For the simple reason that God does what he does in us as individuals because we all have an individual purpose. And God's purposes for Solomon somehow permit this kind of offer and lavish, outrageous, kind of revelation here. But make no mistake, this is more than God giving Solomon a blank check. This is truly a test of character. And that's why, in some ways, I don't think it's good that God would. He shouldn't do this for me and you because we don't know what to ask for, in previous seasons of my life, I was even dumber. But if you'd asked me that when I was in middle school, anything you want, give anything you want, I would have wanted to live at Godfather's Pizza and play Space Invaders in Galaga, and I would want a billboard-size poster, that poster of Farrah Fawcett Majors, that we all had in our room. Like I would want a billboard-size Farrah Fawcett Majors poster, and I'd want to live at Godfather's, and I'd be serious. Like that, yes, that would sound like the best thing in the world, but you don't ask a middle schooler anything he wants because he's going to ask for something dumb, But what makes me think that I'm that much smarter now? I'm 59 now. I'm probably not going to ask for a poster or my own Space Invaders, machine or to live at Godfather's Pizza, but I would probably still ask for something just as ridiculous because that's just the thing. I don't know enough. I don't know the consequences of what I'm asking for. And like I say, it's literally a test of character. And in this moment, Solomon shines. he shines. My goodness, it gives the best answer of anybody ever. He just says, "God, you're good God. And, who am I?" And just like his father David. And he ends up asking for wisdom. Some translations, a listening heart. Solomon doesn't base his response or his request on what he wants. Solomon bases it on who he wants to become for the sake of others. Did I say that correctly? He answers not based on what he wants, even though the question was anything you want. He doesn't base it on what he wants. He bases his response on who he wants to become for the sake of others. So truly, he just says, if you're going to put me in charge of this great nation, then make me a person worthy of that. Give me wisdom and knowledge to lead these people properly, because nobody can govern these great people of yours. Good answer, Solomon. That was good. And even God says, all right, that's a good answer, dude. God's like, that's a good answer, dude. And so God says, because you didn't ask for the obvious, I'm going to give you everything. You didn't ask for everything, so I'm going to give you the wisdom that you've asked for, but then I'm going to also give you wealth, riches, fame like no king's ever had. And God makes good on that promise. Is it a blessing? Have you read Ecclesiastes? I actually know that you have because we read it together. Have you read Ecclesiastes? Solomon in the end's like, you think that you win a prize when you get the whole world, but man, you find out you win the world and you lose your soul, and in the end, you're still a loser, And that's Solomon's story. I don't mean to ruin it for you, because in this moment he shines bright. I should just let him shine bright for a moment. But you and I both probably have read the Bible and know it's not enough to make, there's a great moment here, but your life has to be more than one great moment. It's fine to make, a good choice once, but it's not enough to make, a good choice once. And God gives Solomon wisdom, but that doesn't mean that God has taken away his stupidity. And as it turns out, wisdom isn't always a real match for stupidity. Stupidity, is halfway around the block before wisdom gets out of bed and gets its pants on. I mean, stupidity, moves fast. And in the end, all of the wisdom that Solomon has is no match for his profound stupidity when it comes to actually following after the Lord. And so anyway, as I said, in this moment, he gets it right and God blesses him. The end of the chapter, just sort of accounts for his great wealth, his huge force of chariots and horses. These are the equivalent of, I guess, a couple of things. Equivalent of like, what's it called? Air Force One. The chariots, especially this fancy Egyptian chariot that he gets, imported, whatever, that will be the equivalent of like the presidential, limo. I mean, Solomon's just going to ride around that and look like a dude, like the Pope Mobile or whatever. Solomon, these are signs of wealth and status. But also, make no mistake, these are elements of warfare. So, there's probably a couple of chariots that have a lot of bling, and the king will enjoy riding around in those, in his motorcade. But it's also the same thing as like tanks, and army trucks, and all of these chariots are for warfare. They show his power as a nation. And this chapter sort of sets Solomon up already as this master of international trade. He's acquiring all of these things from all of these nations and trading horses, and it brings a period of great prosperity for the nation. And that's what we're supposed to see in 2 Chronicles chapter 1. We'll move on. Tomorrow, 2 Chronicles chapter 2 and chapter 3. Okay, 2 chapters. I think by now you know why. When I give you 2 chapters, I think you know why. So 2 Chronicles chapter 2 all the way through chapter 3, verse 17. Solomon's going to build the temple, and we'll kind of move quickly through that. So tomorrow, chapters 2 and 3, and I will see you then, 10 o'clock in the morning for